Welcome to Church of the Chair. Sorry to start with a yawn, but welcome to Church of the Chair, where we celebrate all the things we do while seated. I'm your host, E, here today with my buddy Chad Lutzke. We are currently collaborating on a book called Planet Caravan. We are pushing toward 40K now. We're at least at 35, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we're at 30, just under 37.
Okay, it's even better than I thought. Anyways, so last stream was absolutely amazing. We pretty much figured out the entire rest of the book, other than the needed plot points. So if you watched that one, we apologize for spoilers, but you got to see in real time us come up with where this thing is going, what we're doing with it. It's a very exciting moment for me. You can see me absolutely giddy like a fucking 12-year-old on Christmas. It was amazing. Or as Viking call it, I was Gid-E. Yeah. I created this monster. Everything that ends in the E sound gets the capital E treatment. Anyways. So today, we're just pushing forward, I guess. Good morning, King. How you doing? Good morning, Viking. I was just talking about you. It's like I summoned him. So I watched Mad Max with my youngest, which was an interesting situation because that boy is so awkward around even two people kissing. So it opens up with two people fucking in a field. And I didn't even have to tell him to close his eyes. Like, he just automatically just looks away, and he's like, he's 11. So I don't know if it's this is weird or whatever, watching it with me or whatever it was. But they don't really show anything other than, these two people on each other with no clothes. So, and I forgot all about it. And it happened so quickly that I haven't seen the movie in 20 years at least. So as soon as it starts playing, I'm like, oh shit. And I don't even have to do or say anything because he's like, ugh. And then there's several other sections. I actually I misremembered the movie entirely because I didn't remember that opening scene, probably because I think it's probably more like 30, 35 years since I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen it. The last time I saw that first one, what probably happened is either mom fast forwarded, started at a different point or whatever, because I don't remember that scene at all. But I also remember very specifically that the sexual assault scene, they actually showed it, and they didn't. I was shocked because I was fast forwarding through that because I of course didn't want him to see that, and I'm watching, and he turned his head every time I fast forward through something. He turns his head, but I'm fast forwarding through it, and they didn't show any of it. The worst that you get is the dude running away through a field, and he has blood on his butt cheeks. And I'm like, I remember this whole scene with, I don't know if there's a director's cut out there or what, but we bought the box set. It was supposed to be the definitive editions of all of them. And but it's funny that I remember I had the whole scene in my head of what happened, and they didn't show a thing of it. And I know that happens to other people, but I was literally kind of gobsmacked. I was like, I remember, and now I know how people feel when they read Hope for the Wicked, because we've talked about this before. It's one sentence in what happens in that book, and people are like, this is the most gratuitous graphic scene I've ever read. I guess you just build it up in your own head, your own imagination. Good morning, Derek. Good morning, Haley.
I was watching. I can't remember how old my daughter was, but she was young, and we were maybe 12 or 13, and the remake for Psycho had come out with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
and I had read about it, that it was a shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we can watch this, no problem. I've seen Psycho, nothing to worry about. It is shot-for-shot, with the exception of taking the liberty in one scene where Norman Bates masturbates while watching through the hole, and I was not happy.
Yeah, I bet. I believe that scene was in the original script, alluded to in the original script, and that's why they did it. Was it Lars Van Trier, or who was it that remade that? I can't remember.
Van Zant.
Van Zandt. That's it. Okay, so I remember an interview with him and Vince Vaughn. Him talking about it was shot for shot, and even some of the stuff that what didn't make it in the original movie because it was too racy for that time period. Um, Anyways, that might be once again Mandela effect, whatever. But I remember that interview. Did you imagine it worse? False memories or so? Oh yeah, I remember like okay, so there's the lead dude with like he's got a bleach blonde front of his hair. He kind of almost looks like Meatloaf. He's got one eyebrow shaved. I remember him assaulting the girl while the bleach blonde dude with the like open jacket or whatever it is, maybe it's a button-up shirt, I can't even remember, but it's a black shirt. I remember him assaulting the dude with the bloody butt. Like I remember all of that. Like I saw it so vividly in my head. And it's not in there. But we watched the Lethal Weapon movies, and we're continuing on the Mel Gibson train right now because we've done all the Arnold Schwarzenegger series. We've done that one, like Conan, Terminator. Anyways, but then we did Rocky, we did Rambo. Then we moved on to, I think, let's see here. Oh yeah, Predator. We went through all the Predator movies. Now we went through the Lethal Weapon movies. Now we're going through the Mad Max collection, and then once we get done with the Mad Max collection, we're going to finally play the video game, the big open world game they made, to see if we can catch any, Easter eggs or whatever. I have memories of pictures and books that never existed. I have that too. It's just like the whole thing with Ed McMahon and Publishers Clearinghouse. Ed McMahon never did Publishers Clearinghouse. He did a completely different one, but everyone remembers that it's Publishers Clearinghouse. You go watch all the videos on YouTube of him doing it, and there's even a video of him being interviewed, and they ask him about Publishers Clearinghouse, and he's like, yeah, they contacted me, so on and so forth. But what nobody shows is a later interview where they're talking to him about Publishers Clearinghouse. He's like, so many people think that it was Publishers Clearinghouse, I just let them go with it. So, but it's weird with the things that we build up in our head. Do I believe it's other timelines? No, of course not. It's just a matter of, our brains remembering a certain thing because of pop culture. And also our generation, like I would say from the 80s on, I guess it is, we maybe even farther back than that, we are we're a parody generation, and some of the things that we remember are from skits like SNL and that kind of thing. Just parodies of those things. Not Mad TV, but Mad Magazine. All that stuff has kind of not skewed. It's kind of convoluted our memories. That's what I think is happening, because we have so many parodies out there, and we have so much. Back then with like if someone were to say Ed McMahon's part of the Publisher Clearinghouse, there was no way to fact check that. Like you couldn't look it up on the internet, kind of thing. So that stuff like that gets stuck in your head when it was actually a whole different company. Well, we have gone from movies to, anyways, Mandela effect.
Yeah, it could be. That happens with me sometimes when I think about it, and not me so much as it's some of my friends. I notice, I realize, especially my oldest son, I'm like, you're thinking of two different movies, and like fusing the two together. But in Psycho, too, a little bit of trivia for those who don't know, they still push the envelope quite a bit because that was the first time ever that they showed a toilet on screen. Ever.
It was trippy, dude. Back in the day, man, it was weird the stuff that they wouldn't show. Just like with every single couple slept in separate beds.
Yeah.
Shit like that just blew my mind. Like how something so innocent as being in the same bed together.
Yeah, a married couple.
Yeah, and going even farther back to, and of course, the first thing that comes to mind is I Love Lucy. Lucy and Ricky were in separate beds, but it was every single one of them. Dick Van Dyke Show, all of them. Yep. Mary Tyler Moore, all of them. And going even farther back, man, like go back to like Victorian period, where if a woman showed an ankle or a wrist, that was highly sexual. That was
Well, they had to have one foot on the floor if they were in bed together.
that.
Too.
Wow, I didn't know that one. I had
Yeah.
no idea. It's like, well, we got to know what that leg's doing. What's that
I
leg
can
doing?
I can still have all kinds of fun with
With
one 2 feet on the floor.
Sometimes I do it for balance purposes. It's interesting to wonder how many of our memories are wrong fabricated. Every time we think of a memory, we taint it. Yeah, that's the thing about memory is also we lie to ourselves constantly. Either that or we lie and that lie becomes the truth, and things just get screwed up, man. I know some dreams that I've had and books that I've written have changed my own memories of certain circumstances. Because now in my head, the girl that lived down the road from me, that Candy was based off of in Bay's End, that girl's name was Candy, and it wasn't Candy. It was her name is something completely different. But in my head, that's how I remembered it. Her name was Candace, and we called her Candy, and that's not how it went at all. That's just what happened in Bay's End. Our brains are truly remarkable when we really stop and think about it. And of course, it is the brain telling me that, so it's biased. But of course, our brains make mistakes. Of course, they record things imperfectly. Yeah, our own biases get, if that's even a word, get in the way. All that stuff, warped by our perceptions. We are not machines. Our brains do the best they can. And going back to Bay's End, one of my favorite lines of Bay's End is in that opening. I guess not prologue, that opening scene where he says experience alters perception. Like, you don't realize things exist until you experience them. It's like the office skit where what's his name, Steve Carell or whatever, mm-hmm. He's talking to another dude, and that I've only ever seen the clip. I don't actually like the show, but he said, how do you know the wall behind you exists?
I'm out
I know.
here.
I know. I can't. I don't think any.
It's
of those
been fun.
People I don't think any of those people are funny. But that's just there you go.
You
again.
are wrong.
There you go again. But anyways, it's like that scene where he's like the wall doesn't exist behind you, or what if the wall behind you doesn't exist when you turn around? I can't remember exactly how it is. And Steve Carell starts backing up, and there's a moment of indecision or worry on his face when he swipes and the wall's not there because he's not close enough to it. And I felt that so hard, but I don't like the rest of the show, but it's like that moment of uncertainty until finally he goes back far enough and touches the wall. But it's what is the is it Schrodinger's cat? Is that the was that the
yeah the I think it's Schrodinger's.
Superposition. Like the cat
in the box.
The cat is neither dead nor alive until you actually look at it. Is the cat in the box dead? Is the cat in the box alive? A really good book about that is, I believe it's Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. It's not recursion. It's definitely Dark Matter. But that was a really good run down the rabbit hole for that. I don't even know what it's called. It's not a theory. Is it a theory?
I don't know.
I don't know either, man. But the Mandela effect stuff blew my mind when I first saw it. But I do think it's all because of it's 100% false memories. There is no timeline breach. CERN didn't throw us into another dimension. I find that people present Mandela effects as this or that, both options given to create two separate memories. Maybe
there's an episode of The Office where I don't know if you know who Stanley is. He's the overweight black guy. With,
okay. Yeah.
Well, somebody mentions he hasn't come into work yet today, and somebody mentions something about his mustache, and then somebody else is like, Stanley doesn't have a mustache, and they're all, and then some people are like, yeah, he has one, and then some of them are like, wait, he doesn't, does he? And then they start pooling, betting on whether he has and then at this point when you're watching, you're like, does this freaking dude have a mustache?
Wow.
I mean, he's on every episode.
Yeah.
And then
he does. He does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but you start to wonder, man,
That's interesting. That the whoever writes that show, the writers must be into that theory. Must be, because that's, I mean, there's two things so far. You know, that scene that you're talking about in the clip that I know. But I don't like the original Office either. I don't like Ricky Gervais' Office. It's just something about, I guess I don't like it when shows or movies break the fourth wall, and every time either Ricky
There's
or
a lot of shows that do that
Steve,
now.
yeah, you know, look at the camera, it just completely takes me out of it, and I'm like, oh, these are just actors having a goof, you know. But yeah, I guess it is fourth wall breaking stuff that bothers me, because it just aggravates me. Like, stop looking at the camera. That's the number one rule of acting, is don't look at the camera.
I think the first show to ever do that was Three's Company with Mr. Roper.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I liked that one, but I was a kid when I watched it.
Every time he'd crack a joke or something, he'd look at the camera and do that perverted little smile.
Yeah. You know, for the longest time, man, I expected something to come out about that actor, because he played that role way too well. Like, he's a horn dog. He wasn't a horn. He was.
You talking about John Ritter?
No, Mr. Farley.
Oh, well, I was talking about Mr. Roper, but you're talking about Don
Mr.
Knotts?
Roper, not Farley. No.
Mr.
I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Let me fix this. Mr. Roper from Three's Company is who I'm talking about. Not.
John Ritter, not Mr.
Yes.
Don Knotts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they. Anyways, but yeah, it was the jokes that he would crack were always so, I guess, salacious kind of deal, because he thought that, you know, John was gay. Yeah. And it was really, I think that was really cool and progressive of its time to you know, even allude to that situation. It was a little, you know, I don't know if it was off color, but it was always in good fun whenever he'd be like, sure, that little look that he would give John Ritter. It's not fourth wall, though. They present it as if they're shooting an ongoing documentary. Oh, okay. Well, that changes things. But I had no idea. Like I said, I don't watch either one of the shows, because I've never really.
The whole show. There's a documentary team on set filming every season, and that's who they're looking at. That's why they have they have like the interviews with cast members and stuff like that.
Now, I saw an interview on the Graham Norton show with Steve Carell talking about looking at the camera, and he said he brought up that, you know, it was a conscious decision to break the fourth wall, but if it's a documentary film crew, anyways, whatever. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna trust anything I hear. You shouldn't trust anything you hear anymore, anyways. But
you gotta do what the wife and I do. We do this like 3 to 4 episode rule for any show that we start, particularly like drama stuff.
Yeah.
So like we just started watching Succession a couple months ago.
Ooh, I heard that's amazing.
And I heard that too, but then we watched an episode and was like, okay, and then we watched another one. Even if we don't like it, because oftentimes you come off from one show and you so badly want it to continue, it's hard to get into new characters, and then 100%. All you really want is the show that you just got done watching. So it's almost not fair to the new show. So give yourself 3 episodes. If you're still unsure on that third one, watch the fourth, and then by that time, you know, if you don't like it by then, if you're not invested, then you're probably not going to be. And so maybe you need to do that with The Office. I've got my wife to. The reason why we came up with that rule is because there's so many shows that I'm like, let's watch this together. Will you watch this with me? And she's like, no. And I'm like, let's just. So we would do this, and she would be so against that. And then I think Hannibal was one of them, which we both loved.
Oh God, that was such an amazing fucking show.
Bates Motel, which was one that I didn't want to see because I was like, what can you do? What can you do with this with Psycho? It's been done. Yeah. But that's a great show. And then cool. A couple of other shows. And sure enough, man, you just kind of. But if you watch something like Breaking Bad and then you're going into something else, all you want is Breaking Bad.
That is hilarious, because that's exactly when I was sitting here going like this. I was waiting. I didn't want to cut you off. I'm trying to do better with that. is exactly what I was going to say. We had that same exact problem with Breaking Bad going into Ozark after it. We were like, man, I don't, because they're almost like it's very similar. The build up for that whole thing, not the build up, but it's, you know,
The pacing is a lot slower in Ozark,
yeah,
I think.
I would say yes, I would agree with that. But we ended up stopping like episode 2 or 3 because we were still stuck on Breaking Bad. We realized that we just consistently compared it to Breaking Bad, and we didn't watch another TV show for the longest time. In fact, the next one that we tried together was You, the adaptation of Carolyn Kepnes's book. And we fell in love with that one. I guess we had enough time, but that's also why I try to consume different media between those things. Like if we watch right now we're watching Beef, and at the same time me and Shell are watching Beef on Netflix, and I'm watching all these 80s and 90s action movies and, you know, kind of nostalgia stuff with my youngest, and so that's kind of breaking up the monotony. But even then, we stopped watching. We took like 2 weeks off of Beef. We were at episode 7, and there's only 9 episodes, and we stopped that to go watch movies. But if you haven't watched Beef, I think you would. You especially.
I've seen the first 2 episodes.
It is so fucking good. In fact, it is very Chad Lutzke. It is very Lutzke-ish, because you never know what's going to happen next, and it's always the coolest, most off-the-wall shit that you're just not expecting where it's going to go. And the twists aren't anything like big gotcha moments. It's more like, in fact, it's like a slow burn up to the twist, and there's no, like, we were watching, I think it's episode 7. The way episode 7 ends and what happens in episode 8 is some of the best television I've ever seen, period. I usually don't like cliffhangers like like this, but it was perfectly done, because the whole episode leads up to this thing, and you are certain you know what's happened. You are just as upset and just as broken as the characters, and then the next episode comes, and that's not what happened at all, and it's another punch to the gut. And every single episode has that punch to the gut, and I'm very impressed. A24 is absolutely murdering. Doing a fantastic job. Yeah,
I didn't know they were doing a miniseries.
Yeah, they it's their first one, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But Beef is everything you love about A24, without any of the like supernatural stuff or, you know, horror elements, anything like that. Everything, man. It is so intense and funny. Dark comedy. And there is a very strong, I don't know if it's strong, but there's one of the characters ends up going to church after a long period of not going, not believing, all that stuff. Goes back to church, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's the power and the passion of the moment when this person comes back to God is something I think you will also appreciate. As someone who went through that themselves when I was younger, because I disbelieved, then I believed, then I disbelieved, then I believed again, and then I disbelieved. And that's been since, I mean, all that happened within the course of like 3 years between the time it was 4 years, but from the time that I was 13 to the time I was 17. And so then 17 came along, and the drugs took over everything. But after that, I did, you know, I don't want to get into religious talk, but yeah, but that was a very powerful scene for me too, because I've been through that. And watching this, and I wasn't expecting it at all. Like, I was like, I did not think that I was going to see a powerful moment of religious fervor in this show, but it was. And the actor that it happens to, it's an amazing transformation. And then what happens afterwards? I'll wait for you to finish. I would love to talk to you about it. So please finish. You get mail this early? I'm so jelly.
I just let the dog go.
Okay. I got a package from Mr. Hunter Shea.
Ooh.
He's moving, and he wanted to get rid of some stuff.
Surprise unboxing.
Oh, man. Joe Lansdale.
Ooh.
Zeppelin's West. That's awfully nice of
That's
him.
cool. You got me on the edge of my seat over here, Lutzke. Come on, brother. Ooh.
Prisoner 489,
Yeah.
Joe Lansdale. He owes me he's supposed to, he's got what he calls the belfry. It's his attic, and he films a lot of his Family Guy episodes up there. And up there he's got posters and memorabilia, and he's cleaning it all out. He's supposed to be sending me his Samantha Fox poster that he has hanging up there. I don't know if you remember who Samantha Fox is.
Hang on, I vaguely. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, I remember her.
Yeah, she had that song, "Touch Me." Is that what it was called?
I don't know. I always get her confused with the chick from American Gladiators. Ozark never grabbed me because I couldn't sympathize with a single character. I mean, fair, but guys,
American Gladiators.
Yeah.
You know who this is, don't you?
Farrah Fawcett. Yes, I know who Farrah Fawcett is and her 12-inch long nipples. Yes, I'm very, very aware of Farrah Fawcett, dude. Very aware. Remember, it's only 10 years difference between us. Yes, I know who Farrah Fawcett is. Yeah. But yeah, I wrote. In fact, she was probably, honestly, I cannot think of one before this. She's the first woman I saw naked, and it was the like finger length nipples that I remember the most.
From Extremities.
I have no idea. I think it was a magazine, 100% a magazine that either my friends had or that I stole from somewhere or something.
It was probably, I know what it was, because my wife and I we were only dating at the time, and she knew that growing up. That's why I got the poster, because that was like my first crush in the 70s was Farrah Fawcett, like most people my age. But then
mine was Pam Grier.
the blaxploitation films.
No, actually not. It was honestly, oddly enough, it was Escape from L.A. that did it. Like, I had never fallen for someone so hard, and the funny part is she plays a transsexual, a trans woman, dude that has become a woman, and but I saw her and I was like, I'm in fucking love. I'm in absolute love, and I'd never fallen for and I think it had to have been after I was 15, so it was the first time I ever saw a woman. I just went completely fucking gaga, not goo. Well, never mind.
Well,
finish what you were saying.
In the early 90s, my wife and I were at the store buying some cigarettes or something, and they had the new Playboy on the counter, and it was the first time that Farrah Fawcett had ever had like a pictorial in there, and she was 50 years old, and my wife goes, "Do you want to buy that?" And I said, I looked at it and I thought about it and I was like, I'm good. But then I saw it later, and there's a movie called Extremities where Farrah Fawcett, it doesn't show her breast and her face in the same shot.
Yeah.
So when her nipple pops out, which was humongous, I thought, this is a body double. Farrah Fawcett doesn't get naked. And then when I saw that Playboy, I was like, that was definitely Farrah Fawcett.
That was definitely Farrah Fawcett. Yeah, Haley, definitely be like, let me put this up on the screen.
But jousting, oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. Anyways.
So however old you were in like maybe 92,
I have no idea.
93.
93 was when it came
13.
out. Trying to figure out when. Dude, I was 16. So my first on-screen crush. No, I take that back. I fucking lied to everybody. My very first. Well, it was more of like an obsession because I had no idea. I have no idea whatsoever. What I was 6 when this movie came out. But Howard the Duck and Leah Thompson. Still to this day, she's like the only white woman who has ever like done it for me, and I don't know why, but it's her in the bed when her and Howard are like messing around and she's playing with him like she's actually going to sleep with him, and that scene, like even at like 6 years old, the intense sexuality of that scene, even though it's technically bestiality or whatever you want to call it, that did something to me, and I was like, this woman is God. And then the older I got, my taste, I don't know if it changed, but I just didn't find too many women attractive. And then I get to whatchamacallit, Escape from LA, and I see Pam Grier, and I'm like, that woman is a goddess. That woman is the queen of my dreams from here on out. And I went back, and after that, well, I knew I was younger or young-ish, because I wasn't allowed to watch any of the other movies that she was in. I remember that I was like, Mom, can I get this? Can I get that kind of thing? And it's like, it's always no when it came to her. So later in life, I went back and watched all of them, which is funny because I absolutely hate Jackie Brown. I don't like the movie at all. I think it's Quentin Tarantino's worst. But that one, that's the only one that I watched. But going farther back, when she was younger, dude, head over heels. I mean, even as an older woman, she's still fine as fuck to me. Like, she's just absolutely gorgeous. But nowadays, like, my picks are like Kerry Washington, Halle Berry. There's a couple other ones, but it's always been, you know, it's just a certain type of one. Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child. Never cared for Beyonce or the other one that went to gospel singing. But Kelly Rowland, man, I was so mad. I was literally hollering mad when I saw Freddy versus Jason and Kelly Rowland died. And then the dude in front of me was hot with like 10 minutes before she died, because she starts running, and then there's a long chase scene, and then it's intercut with a bunch of other stuff. So it's a while before she actually dies. And the dude is a couple rows down from me, and he hollers, "Kelly dies, we fucking riot." I'm like, it's like, I'm with you. And then she died, and I was like, fuck this movie. But anyways, I like the movie. But yeah, Kelly Rowland, definitely. And I have a very specific adult film actress that I like, and that's Jada Fire. I don't know if you've ever seen her or heard of her or anything. But
I'm not up to date.
Yeah, well, she's not up to date. I mean, I think she's retired at this point.
I just know that I know like the staples like Ginger Lynn, Amber Lynn, Tracy Lords.
Yeah, I know Tracy Lords. The only reason I know Tracy Lords is because of the Tommyknockers. That's literally the.
Oh, is she in that?
Yeah, and it was funny because when it came out that it was her first dramatic, or her first, I don't want to call it a real movie, but you know what I mean. Her
first real movie.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But I mean, anyways, first movie, and I remember the newscast so specifically. They were talking about how it was the 15th movie she had been in with the word knockers in it. And this was on the news, man. The news.
That's funny.
I was like, that's messed up. But yeah, I still love that movie. I love that movie to death, for no matter how bad it is, even though I hate the book. But all the stuff that I don't like from the book is taken out of that miniseries, which all the stuff outside of Haven. That's why I like the movie so much, because they focused just on Haven. And of course they could, because it was a TV movie. I don't even think they would have done it had it come out in theaters. But there's no vagina tentacles. There's no, none of that other stuff. Like I said, outside of Haven. So it's got all the good stuff is in there. But I always wanted, and I think this is one of the reasons why Tommyknockers doesn't work for me, is because the best part of Tommyknockers is the little boy magician, and I wanted more of that. I wanted like a whole story just based on that. This kid who made his little brother disappear was far more interesting than anything else going on in that book. More interesting than Bobby and Guard's relationship. More interesting than anything else going on. This little boy, I wanted to really focus on that little boy and the trauma of making his brother disappear and not being able to bring him back. That alone would have been a novel in and of itself. And I think that shirt you're wearing is my favorite so far. Which one is it? Oh, it's a Misfits.
Well, it's my hoodie.
Yeah.
I got it from eBay, I think a year or so ago. And it is very comfy, and it was dirt cheap. I think I paid $24 for it or something.
We should do a series where we talk about things we actually agree on. Like, I was thinking, we disagree on so much that maybe we should do something eventually. I'm not talking about anytime soon, but do something eventually. It's like us just talking about the stuff that we agree on. Like we find those points and call it broken clock is right twice a day or something. I don't know, something stupid like that. And talk about those things, because we've done the agree to disagree. You were the first one I did with. I did one with Sonora Taylor, and I think I did one with Joe Atone. I'm not sure, I might not have, but anyways, but I think that would be interesting, us talk, because it seems like every single time you bring something up, I'm like, oh, I hate that. Or, you talk about something you hate, I'm like, oh, I love that kind of thing. But it just goes to show that you can disagree on fucking everything and still be friends, and still enjoy each other's company, all that shit. Call it chatty chat. No. No. We already got Dan E cast, or whatever it was called, where me and Dan were doing discussions about oh shit, Haley, I'm sorry, hang on, let me finish my thought first. We were doing discussions on Dan would read a Stephen King book, and then we would do I think we did like 3 episodes or whatever. Haley, I just saw your voice messages. I'll check them out on break, I promise. I'm sorry. Discord is become the bane of my existence in one way. Y'all, there are so many updates, so many notifications. I had to turn off notifications entirely, because it's like every 5 seconds I would get a new Discord notification, and then it would just keep going. And I just can't keep up with all of it. If I were to read everything on the Discord, in fact, I was talking to Jordan, also known as Solvents or Demotivated. I was talking to Jordan yesterday, and he said that he follows several Discords with like thousands and thousands of members, and mine is the most active out of all of them. Like, it's crazy. I got another message too from another friend. Yeah, I gotta respond to all this, but yeah, I'll get to it. I'm glad you don't, Haley, because holy shit, it's hard to keep up over there. And then people are always like, but they posted it on on Discord, and this one, I'm like, I can't keep up with everything, guys. I cannot do it. I cannot do it.
Shoot, man.
We're almost 100. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if you can see that. I didn't realize it was signed.
Holy shit.
Thank you. Cool. Thank you, Hunter. Wow. That's awesome. What a nice guy. Love that guy.
Oh, yeah. Real good dude.
And what's funny is he doesn't even know all of the... I got a lot of Lansdale. He doesn't even know the ones I own, and he sent me 2 that I don't own. Actually, I do own Zeppelin's West in paperback, but not hardcover with slip jacket, and I think it might be limited.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it is signed. It's got a sig sheet, so...
Viking says, is that Poe in a jar?
Yeah, 15... Oh, no.
I didn't get a good look at it, Viking.
No, it's not. Looks like it might be some pirate or something. But yeah.
Just to answer your question real quick, I saw this. Are there bunks in here other than the main bed, or should we use a cot? What I had in that chapter that I wrote was he was just going to be sleeping on the couch for now as a probationary period.
There'd be a couch in there?
Yeah, there's the way the like living quarters are set up, it's just like an open trailer kind of thing. I've been drinking my coffee, I promise. I've been sipping. Chad, get you a drink. Anyways, so that there'll be like a back room. There's usually like curtains or whatever that closes off the bed area. And then there'll be a living space with like it's just like any other like studio apartment. That's basically what they're like. But they don't have bathrooms in there. They usually have either a potty truck that they empty out, or they use porta-johns, of course, on location. But the porta-johns are usually supplied by the city, so they'll rent out porta-johns from wherever they're going. Yeah. But way back before porta-johns, they would literally build an outhouse for people and then tear it down every time, and then bury whatever is left over. But yeah, that's the way I envisioned it. But you can definitely have a cot, like if it's a probationary period or whatever. It is a probationary period, but if you want to have a cot in there, that's fine.
I just know that the dude's got to have like his lovemaking area.
Yeah,
So,
and that's I had the heart-shaped bed that rotates, and then
but not really, right?
Oh, I actually had it rotating. But anyway,
You have a heart-shaped bed in this trailer rotating?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Why not?
It's gonna fit in there?
Yeah, these jokers are as wide as like a mobile home. They're just shorter. They're as wide. They're just shorter, and they'll fit behind a truck. Hang on, let me show you what.
It doesn't seem like there'd be enough room for that and a couch and maybe a.
Hang on,
because I'm thinking like camper size.
Yeah. Hang on. Did I lose you because you started? Yeah, you froze. This is. Did I freeze or did he freeze? I think he froze, and he's. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh wait, he froze. Is it froze for you guys too? Like that, where he's like. Oh, and somebody screenshot that. Somebody screenshot it. I don't know if it froze on the same one. Oh, this is amazing. Oh, I'm so sorry, Chad. I'm so sorry, Chadwick. It's I'm sorry. Oh, why is Chadwick deep in thought? Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't. Oh my god.
Laughing
dude.
way too hard at me, dude. Laughing way too hard.
Oh my god, that fucking freeze frame was epic. You were still like this. It was the perfect.
It's my senior photo.
I guess so. Whew. All right. So let me share my screen. Let me show you some stuff. Screen share. Okay. Okay, so here's what like the fun house would be. That's the kind of thing. But then you also have things like this, but the owner's not going to be in something like this. The owner's going to be in something, a little more extravagant. But here's like another one. They're just semi-trailers. Mm-hmm. They're usually converted or whatnot.
The semi-trailer, that's all the fun house is too, correct?
Yeah, yes. Because okay. all they do with that is
slap on crap in there and
yeah. It's basically all fold outs and with poles that hold things up, so that it'll cover the actual attraction and all the stuff on the side when they're driving down the road, so you don't know what it is. Sometimes they don't even bother with that. But yeah, it's like those pop out trailers. You know how they crank a wheel and then everything comes out of it. That's exactly how they're built, and they've been built like that for decades. But yeah, the 100% there would be room in the owners, only the owners. It's going to be lavish, because he's going to have parties and things in there. He's all that stuff, get-togethers, so on and so forth. That's where he takes, if they have to bribe like city officials or cops or whatever, that bring him into the trailer and sit him down in the lap of luxury kind of deal, and finesse them so they can get either permits so that they don't get arrested or one of their crew doesn't get arrested, that kind of thing. And it all goes back to Roma and nomadic tribes that traveled around in these trailers. Of course, they were horse drawn back then, but that's where all this stuff comes from. But yeah, there would definitely be room. The only thing that I didn't put in there that might be a thing is like a rollout, like bay window or something. Like I said, like a pop-up tent kind of deal. But I also didn't. On purpose, I didn't mention how big the bed was. So, I mean, it could be like it could. I guess you could probably fit a queen in there, but since it's heart shaped, it's going to be easier. It's going to be easier for it to go around than if it was square. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's still probably going to be as long as a real bed, so at its furthest point.
Yeah, but I mean, it'll be anyways. But you can definitely fit a king size mattress in one of these trailers, but it would be wall to wall. So I guess there would be about this much space on either side if it was a regular queen size bed. But at the same time, it's heart shaped.
Maybe we should, instead of having a heart-shaped bed that spins, maybe we should have a bed that spins or a heart-shaped bed. I just feel like that's, especially because they're kind of like living check to check. It feels like it's something that, like if he had this, like let's say he had two singles that were to make up this double or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like this makeshift thing, and then he's got some kind of thing that used to be part of some ride that they had at some point, or that he never got off the ground.
That's a cool idea. Yeah, like a teacup or something that he used the mechanism to make it spin.
Yeah, I would imagine
that'd be a cool backstory.
Owning an actual heart-shaped bed just feels like something that would be expensive.
Well,
the rotating thing makes sense because of rides.
These places, I mean, the people who work there don't make much money, but usually the dudes who own carnivals are fucking millionaires, even the small ones, because they have to be able to afford the maintenance and upkeep and everything on all of this stuff.
Yeah, but they're probably not. If he's a millionaire, at that point he's probably at home taking phone calls and then having someone, in charge. But
that's the common misconception that these people who work and live at carnivals are broke. They just hide their money, and it's all cash. It's the mafia and carnivals all like hide that. That's where the hiding money in mattresses comes from. Mm-hmm. It's from them. Everything is cash. They don't do banks. They didn't do any of that stuff. They don't take out loans. It is all cash. But certainly the people who work there are usually impoverished. But the owners, those and the owner operators of the rides, those fools are well in. And it's not a matter of it's more about the lifestyle than it is the flaunting their riches kind of thing. It's more about them being on the road and enjoying that lifestyle, and that's why they do it to begin with. Mm-hmm. Most carnival owners come up from being either roustabouts or whatever, and they get up to like owner operator. They save their money because they make so much money doing the rides. Because I think it costs something like and the research I did was for the 80s and the 90s, but it costs maybe $30 a day to run a Ferris wheel as far as electricity and upkeep and whatnot, and they make thousands off that one ride in one night. So but also they go to smaller places, they don't make anywhere near as much money. They go to bigger places and then they just clean up. But you do have things like Barnum and Bailey kind of thing where the circus gets so big it's $1 billion industry. Yes, you have a guy in an office somewhere, but with these small carnivals it's 100% just them, and that's it. In fact, I think that would be another designation between carnival and circus, because circus would have someone in an office, whereas a carnival or a fair would just have the people who run the show, and it's a family situation. Mm-hmm. Now we don't have to make Mingo rich. That of course that's we can do whatever we want with the character, but just don't believe the myth that these people aren't rich as fuck, because that's the only way you can keep a show on the road like that, especially for years and years and years. And I believe Mingo's been doing this for a while, so he's definitely got some money. He's definitely got money. So anyways, I keep getting my damn anyway. So yeah, we could in fact, why don't we get rid of the rotation period and just make it a vibrating bed? Why don't we do that? Or I seem to remember. Here's the thing. It might just be my bad memory, but I was sure that when we first discussed Mingo, even before he had a name, that he had a heart-shaped bed that rotated. I thought that was one of the things that we talked about.
When I was saying that, I was just saying like that type of guy who would have something like that. I didn't mean like he's
okay, not literally. Okay, I got you. All right.
Like he's got the freaking body lotions and all that kind of stuff. The fuzzy handcuffs and feathers and just whatever the chick might be up for.
And he's got Vicks VapoRub in his top drawer. I know that much. And that.
But the
that
only
co-
thing I know from like cheap fairs like this are from Freezer Burn by Joe Lansdale and then
Yeah.
Carnival. So I don't, and neither
Yeah.
one of those people were. It I likened it to kind of like a popular punk band on the road living out of the van, you
Right.
know. And it's like if you were
Some
making money,
some of them might be like that, but it's it's still the amount of money that it takes, because like Carnival, when you're talking about that, you're not talking about gas prices, you're not talking about maintaining rides, you're not talking about any of that stuff. You're just having to maintain the people, because during that time there wasn't all that stuff. So with stuff like that, yeah, they were, destitute. It was also during the Depression, so everyone was
yeah.
broke. It wasn't just the troop. uh but I would say that switched starting in the 60s, when they became extremely popular, when carnivals and traveling shows really kicked off. Sideshows, freak shows were always a thing way back forever. But as far as sideshows like fire breathing and all that stuff really grew in popularity in the 60s, going in the 70s and whatnot. Even so much that carnival culture overflowed into regular culture, because that's where bell bottoms came from. It was the performers wearing those outlandish costumes, and then there was the explosion of color in the 70s also. But anyways, I would say from the 60s on, if someone can afford to run a carnival and run all the shipping stuff, all the transportation stuff, 100%, they're making bank. And if Mingo, now we could say, Mingo is not like super rich because he pays everybody equally. Like, we can make him good on that, and that rarely ever happens. In fact, I don't think I've ever heard of it. But we could do that and make it our own thing, to where he's not this lord or king over these people. It's more of a family situation, which is kind of what we're going for, anyways, because we want Shane to feel like he's part of a family. Other than Buzzard kind of deal.
Yeah, but if he comes in and starts getting paid just as much as Buzzard or anybody else, they're not.
That's going to be a problem. Yes, exactly. So, and I'm not saying pay the newbie, as much, but he definitely get paid as much as a roustabout. Let's see here. I would say in the 80s, he's probably making $3 to $4 an hour. It's definitely not minimum wage, because all that shit is under the table anyways. He's probably making $3.
In the mid 80s, minimum wage here was $3.35.
Yeah, it'd probably be anywhere between maybe $2 to $3
I figured
an hour.
Wouldn't be making much, because they're providing all food, room, and board.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to take that out of that cut too. So, but usually and also one thing, there's always a cook line, just for the people. There's always a cook, just like old school wagon trains. There's always a cookie, and they always set up before it's funny because I was going to bring this up, but I wanted the scene. Carnies rarely ever eat carnival food. They like never do. It's usually they'll make like one big pot of stew, and then everyone will eat off that, and then they'll work all night, and then at the end of the night they'll eat basically like whatever they have around. But they have in the morning they'll cook a big breakfast for all the roustabouts who have been working all night, and then everyone
we should have a cook character that's all they do.
Yeah,
and everybody's fine with them only doing that because they cook amazing food for
that'd be awesome.
For especially given their situation.
Yeah, 100%. And it'd be I like this cookie character, and you have to call him Cookie. It's the same thing with cowboys. They call him Cookie. Carnies call them cookies. Yeah, it's the same thing. So whatever their name might be. Hang on, someone's here. Give me a second.
Mm-hmm. See you later, Haley. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out.
Never mind, it's just FedEx. All right.
Did you get something special?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't order anything, so it's probably Shell. All my stuff came in. And I figured out what happened to my Holly showing up late. It wasn't Amazon's fault. The last time I checked out, I checked in as few boxes as possible, and I had ordered 3 other things: Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and some little ramekins with lids. And so they put everything in one box. And of course, I have to, the one that I picked up at, the one that I had to drive to go get, I'm going to have to send that one out because my copy's damaged. the copy that came to Amazon, because it was bouncing around with these, other items in there. So I got to, I'll probably end up, I don't know. I'll probably end up going and buying another one or sending this one back.
How damaged is it?
Well, the cover's ripped up at the top. It's in the house, but it's got a rip right across here. And this top section is all crushed in. So it's pretty bad, but yeah, I mean, that's what you expect with Amazon. It's just I didn't expect it to be as bad. I wasn't expecting it to be ripped. All right, Haley. Well, is his name Chadwick? No, his name is not Chadwick. I'm sorry. It's just something I goofily call him. I give everyone nicknames if you haven't noticed. All right, yeah, but you have a nice one too, Haley. I think you're already gone, but anywho, so you want me to go back and fix that and just have like a vibrating bed, or what do you want me to do with that section? Or do you want to fix it when you get there? I don't care either way, honestly.
I think we should have it spinning, just like I said, like it's like the spinning device was from some
What about a round bed? Why don't we just make it round? That would make it would make it really fucking easy in a trailer of this size. If you want that, maybe it spins, and because it spins, on the mechanism, it also vibrates just naturally. Like we could have that too. Like we can go around in a circle.
Yeah, okay, but only when it gets to a certain point. Then it goes, and then it gets back there again.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah.
But
okay.
What if it was round, where he took those, the corners were all strapped and tucked, so it was like almost like tapered edges.
So it could spin in the trailer.
Yeah.
That's perfection. Yes. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Yeah.
Like it's completely jerry rigged to be something I
love it.
very, very romantic, but underneath the bedspread, it's just a hunk of junk.
Yeah, we'll have it made. He'll have it made up and covered up, but we got to have that reveal at some point in time where, like someone walks in while he's changing. Maybe Shane walks in to get paid or whatever, and he's changing the sheets, and it's like, did you strap the thing into? It's like, yeah, or else it wouldn't spin. And
yeah.
It's moving, so he can, it's like rotating while he's trying to put on the sheet to make it easier to put on the sheet, so he doesn't have to, reach over and whatnot. And as it's spinning, it hits that one point, and Mingo can look over and go, "That's my favorite part." Oh, that's okay. Yes,
it could be some old like preschoolers carousel ride. That only has a couple things on there,
or teacups or whatever it might be. There's got to be something like that. It has to have come off of something like that. I agree. That's amazing. That's the little stuff. That's the little stuff that makes stories great. That's beautiful. Makes it feel real.
It's very Lansdale too.
Oh, okay. I haven't read enough of him.
Yeah, it sounds very just to have something like that in there.
We should dedicate this to him. We should 100% dedicate it to him.
I just dedicated a book to him.
Oh, never mind then.
He read it, loved it, and tweeted about it.
Sweet. Okay. Well, I am going to. Okay, do you want to do? You mentioned you can see the caravan rolling out thing and then being on the road pretty clearly. Do you want to do that next, and then I can do the setup for the next town?
Well, right now I'm fusing because I had to switch things around because of how the way he dropped off his stuff, and so now I just met up with your spot where he's talking to Buzzard and figuring out that he is not. So I've wrote a bunch of before that, and then to fuse them. And
yeah,
then
I see. I'm gonna read it now before I come back. No, I'm gonna read it when I come back from break because, I want to start writing as soon as I get done, reading it. So.
Okay.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna take my break. I'll be back in about 10, 15 minutes, something like that. let's get to work. Read what you got up in here. Anyways, but what I was asking before I left about whether or not you want to do the caravan, what I should work on next.
Because... Oh, I forgot to tell you. I added to the outline if you want to look at that too.
Okay, all right. I'll look at that also. And I've read the whole ending of the. You can highlight the ending of the chapter before X marks the spot.
Okay.
Just ignore the asshole when it puckers. I've never heard that one. That's good.
Me, I've never heard it either.
Oh, it's fucking gold. That's for sure. Hey, how about right here, this part? How about he just like opens up the door and drops it on the inside? Like he tells him, just drop it on the inside of the door, because the reason I said,
you got explanation or further description later on. Okay.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
It's like just drop it on the inside and he can lock up.
Okay.
The top hat? That's interesting.
It's supposed to be this thing that dude thinks it's cool and everybody thinks it's stupid.
Oh, sorry, yeah. But having Mingo say that man don't know a damn thing about fashion while he's looking like Robert Plant mixed with fucking John Waters is hilarious. Yeah, I look at Mingo's velour burgundy suit. Oh God, this is gold. Oh, this book. I must not know a thing about fashion either. Oh, yeah. Oh. Whew. Oh. All right, let me roll down here. Yeah, that was page 69. Giggity. All right, so we got this one done. Yeah. Also, we need to make sure we're on the same page with what we're calling this, because a fair is local or community funded, and carnivals are the traveling shows. So, any instance of fair needs to be changed. Well, I mean, I guess we actually don't need to change it because we're in Shane's head. We can just have him call it a fair at one point in time and have someone else be like, no, no, kid, this is a carnival. Fairs are local. So that's an easy fix. We'll hit that some point in time. Shane makes up the next town. Sweet. No, still got the wrong color. There it is. Would you... Don't want to bother you while you're writing, but would you be opposed to... It says here, they hit the road and Shane falls asleep soundly in Mingo's trailer. Would you be opposed to me writing a section as everything's pulling out and he feels like he's too anxious, or not too anxious, but too excited and anxious, I guess, to sleep, and he's watching, like I got this idea in my head, like the caravan's rolling out and they're going around a curve, and Shane is able to see from the window of Mingo's trailer. I keep wanting to call him Mingle. Anyways, Mingo's trailer, as this line of the cars and trucks and trailers and everything kind of rounds this, and he sees this long, like, lit up snake going off into the darkness. Like, you know, I don't know. There's something about... I'm getting fucking goosebumps just thinking about it. But anyways, would you mind me taking that section?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sweet.
Oh, don't forget to check the outline. I don't know if
that's
it's
what I'm
just
talking about. It's
just
from your
outline,
because it says they hit the road and Shane falls asleep soundly in Mingo's trailer. I'm thinking, you know, he's too excited, but then he just fucking crashes. Right. So it's like, and then Shane wakes up in the next town, and that's where that whole thing came from. Like a rather short chapter where he's like, "We're finally out of here. We're gonna get gone. We're doing this." And he's like, "I'm too excited to sleep." And you know, all this stuff going through his head, all the stuff that he's experienced. He's thinking about Buzzard, thinking about Sam, thinking about Mingo, thinking about all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, conked out, and he wakes up in the next town.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that I'm not writing something that you want to write. So,
I think the only scenes that I was really wanting to do were like hanging out with Sam the first time, and then the grave, the grave barn.
I think you'd kill the boobs section too, the whole life lesson with boobs, because I've done plenty of those so far with like Mingo talking to him and, you know, a couple other things. So I think you know, him talking to Carla and working with Kay and all that stuff. So also need to add some of these people to the character list. I keep forgetting about that. Hang on, let me do that now. yeah, I also need to finish up. Like he's going off to work, help load up the petting zoo. I'll have him finish up that, and then they'll hit the road. Um, Middle. I'm not gonna go into any detail. I just like once I finish up with the stinky animals kind of thing.
Okay.
Did you cut any instances of Sam calling, or did you add any instances? Do you like the idea of Sam calling Shane Spaz, or do you want to change that?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Okay.
And I
All
didn't
right.
cut any because I haven't seen
Okay.
any yet.
All right. Yeah, that's not until the later chapters. All right.
Only because, he's over the whole name calling. He's over the whole, this is like, this chick is something special, and
Okay. That's fine. Just something that came out while I was writing. if that's as good as I think it is or not. Hold on. Well, I'm on fucking fire today. Sorry.
Awesome. Awesome.
Just a bunch of lines that it's like Sandusky Farm gone from a place of mystery, magic, and adventure to an empty field spotted here and there with indentations of attractions and concessions lingering in the earth like heavy ghosts. And then the road ahead curves, and I can see the lights of our caravan winding away into the dark distance. A glance in the opposite direction shows the purpling horizon, as if we're fleeing from the light, rushing away from sunrise. And I think, how fast would we have to go to beat the day? Is it possible to outrun the sun? Sure, you'd eventually hit water, but could you do it, if only for a moment? God damn.
Nice.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, boy, but I'm on it today. I said it's not often I'm happy with what I write first go, so seem to be firing on all cylinders. All right. Hmm. All right, I'll read this when I get back. I was reading what you had done. I'm gonna go ahead and take my break, my final break, and when I come back, I'll read what you wrote.
Okay.
I got like 2.5 pages done, I think, something like that.
Nice.
It's a much longer scene than I planned, but I think I got some good shit in there. Anyways, be back in 10.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, Jordan? Appreciate you renewing the membership. Most definitely. Thank you. So let me read all these shenanigans you got.
All right.
Ooh, I like that addition. By the time we're done, it's like me and Kay know a little bit about each other. That's good. I just got silent language down. That's really good. Man, this is fucking creepy. It's like you're in my goddamn head. Like the way you expand on stuff. Like right after Carla gets through explaining that the bumper's car is more for couples than anyone else, and then you go on this whole. By the time she's done, I'm confused about bumper cars. That whole thing is perfect. That's exactly it. Yeah, that's good shit. Yeah, I gotta add something real quick. So, like the blisters thing.
Okay.
Definitely want to add that before I forget about it. Okay, I'm done, dudes. Oh, it's going fantastic. It's another really, really good day. We haven't had a bad day yet, I don't think.
No.
Even when we both wrote the same, well, like the same scene but at different times, it was
Yeah.
still ended up being good.
Yeah, it turned out.
Yeah. All right, so I took care of. Let me go down here and highlight. They hit the road. Yeah, this one sentence. They hit the road and Shane falls asleep soundly in Mingo's trailer turned into 2.5 pages. All right. Booyah, gosh. Okay. Something to do tomorrow too. Ah,
Oh my gosh! I just saw the funniest meme.
what's that?
You know those pictures of Bernie Sanders. It says, "I am once again asking,"
Yeah,
you know, for
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
This one says, this one is, you know, that picture of Bernie Sanders says, "I am once again asking for the clam-shaped e-reader from It Follows."
Cool, cool.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Let's see here. No, this could be part 23. I'm gonna set up tomorrow's stream right now.
We're at, we're just over 38,000, but I think I cut a lot. You know, I really what's the word I'm looking for? Consolidated
Okay.
today.
Let's see here. 7th, 8th. Yeah. Create live stream. Uh, all right, links are on their way. That one's all set up. All right, let me. Okay, that's done. Oh.
For anybody watching now or later, just wanted to encourage them to get this thing that came out Tuesday. This is a beautiful, well, the cover's awesome because I did it, but it's a wonderful, wonderful rural noir, dark fantasy, whatever. Yeah, very gritty, very heartbreaking, incredible book by John Bowden called Snarl.
It's the second thing that comes up when you type in Snarl on Amazon.
It's got a. I think it might be his best.
Add to cart.
But he got himself a. What is the name of that guy? He just got a blurb from. An unexpected blurb from. Who was it? It's a name I should know, and I don't. Is it trying to find it on his timeline here?
I was wondering what the fuck I had in my. Sorry. I was wondering what I'd added Jedi Summer and Snarl to my Amazon cart, and I was wondering why it was $922. I got this. I don't know if you've ever seen these. I'll post a link. I am seriously considering, because I have a Amazon Prime Visa card that I have used for absolutely nothing, and I was thinking about going. I don't even know if that's gonna. It might not even show up, but It's a Enya Next G2, so NEX G2 carbon fiber acoustic electric guitar, and it comes with all these crazy. It's got mad reviews. I've seen numerous.
That thing is freaking hideous, man.
I love it. I
Oh
absolutely love it. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I fucking love it. And definitely looking at the black, not black, the looks like purple indigo, whatever the hell it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they call it purple, but yeah, I mean, it's got built-in speakers and everything. It's pretty fucking loud, and you don't even need an amp with it, but you can plug it into an amp. You can plug it into a computer, all different kinds of stuff, and it sounds fucking amazing.
Del James.
Del James?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you know who Del James is?
I have no idea, dude. I'm looking him up. Oh, yeah, I still have no idea who this is, but that's cool.
He is the was Guns N' Roses manager.
Yeah, I see. I'm reading the Wikipedia.
Yeah. He's best known for writing the short story that reportedly inspired November Rain video.
Huh. Okay, cool.
But yeah, he was over at Jeremy Wagner's house, and of course Jeremy being John's publisher for Snarl, he saw the book and liked the cover, and Jeremy gave him a copy, and he read it and tweeted about it.
Sweet. All right. You can tell Mr. Bowden that his 2 sales today came from me. No.
Awesome.
I have a gift card? Who the fuck sent me a $25 gift card? What? Wait, what? I have a $100 gift card balance?
Dang, dude, that's killer.
What the fuck? I have no idea where this came from. I'm trying to make sure none of my details are on here. Yeah, someone just, I guess, I never got a notification. Listen, whoever, I don't know who the fuck would have done this, but I don't think any of my personal information's on here. But
That's awesome.
yeah, what the hell? I got $100 gift card. What the shit? I have no. The fuck? That's crazy. Where the hell did I? Oh yeah, well my Amazon account's under Edward Lorne anyway, so it wouldn't have been a problem. What the hell?
Dang, I want to find an unsuspected balance on here.
Viking says same thing happened to me a few months ago. $75 showed up on my balance and I didn't put it there. I didn't buy anything that I would have gotten $100 gift card balance for. Not a damn thing. Look, I'm gonna put up another video. I don't, or maybe I'll announce on Discord. Like, if anybody comes, whoever did it, thank you. I don't know. I doubt Amazon. I haven't bought anything, any individual item over $50 on Amazon, so I doubt it has anything to do with something that I bought. But yeah, I fucking appreciate it. That's amazing. Because I went to go buy. I go over here to try and buy John's books, and it's like taken out of the gift card. I'm like, what gift card?
That's awesome. I have zero.
It is. It's absolutely amazing. Did they have a class action lawsuit for something?
Not that I'm aware of.
Hang on, let me look up. Or let me just look up yeah, it's a whole thing. Hang on. Reddit has a thread. This is 173. No, that's from December 7th, 2017. But 173.41 suddenly appeared on my Amazon gift card. Why does Amazon hold a gift? Never mind. No. Huh. That's I can only assume someone sent it to me. I mean, because I have my wish list. Well, I don't have a wish list for a gift card, but my wish list is public. That's fucking weird. Well, that rocks. I don't even have to come out of pocket to get Bowden's books. I'm gonna tell Shell about it so she can load up on whatever the hell she wants to. Maybe the kids want something too.
My wife just started Gun Love the other day.
Cool. I hope she digs it.
Yeah, she's been enjoying it.
Not awesome. Yeah, it's very Lutzke-ish. I like saying that now. It's very Lutzke-ish. Down to earth, slice of life, great characters. Not much happens, but what does happen is satisfying enough. So it's a really beautiful story, beautifully written, all that good stuff. I am happy today. Well, shit, I'm gonna talk to Shell. I might go ahead and grab that guitar, and if I don't like it, I can always send it back and get a credit. But I have the kids use the other. Have Shell and the kids like $25 a piece, so I'm not checking out right now. So don't tell Bowden I bought it yet. It'll probably be a day or so. Anyways, but yeah, that's weird. I've never had that happen. That's like finding money in my pocket. That's exactly what it is. But yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, one time my wife and I, this is years ago, but we washed a bunch of money and didn't know about it and kept finding $20 bills popping out of the dryer for all week. It was awesome.
That's crazy. The coolest thing that's ever happened to me as far as finding money is I was 10 or 11, something like that. My grandmother liked to take me to this place in California called Solvang, which is I don't know what to call it, but it's built up like an old Dutch village. I believe it's Dutch. But people walk around in clogs and all that shit. It's a dryer / ATM. I was actually going to say something like that. It's like your dryer turned into an ATM. But I was walking through this art gallery that they had, and I go up. There's these 3 steps that go up into this alcove, this little nook with and when I walk up there, I've always stared at stairs while I walk them one at a time, even before I hurt my back. You know, I've always been hyper vigilant. So I walk up the stairs, and there's nothing on the stairs as I'm walking up there. In fact, my grandmother walks up behind me, and we go and we look, and there's no one else really there. I turn around to go back down after we get done, and she's behind me, and I look down, and I stop, and she bumps into me, and she goes, "What are you doing?" I was like, "There's money down here," and it was a $50 bill just folded in half, sitting on the step. It wasn't there when I was walking up, but it was there when I was walking down. Weirdest, coolest thing. But yeah, she's like, "Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up and talk to the people who run the place, because it's almost like a theme park kind of deal. You know, it's like a whole thing." So we go up there and talk to him, and the lady behind the counter, she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. You can keep it." If as my grandmother's like, "Are you sure this is a lot of money?" I mean, this is like 90, 91, something like that. Like, this is a lot of money. You sure you don't want to hold on to it? And she goes, "It happens all the time here." So I have this like story in my head that I've always wanted to write, like this rich person like just going around like leaving money on, you know, steps or whatever, leaving money around this place so people can like buy stuff. I end up spending 20 of it in their gift store. So, you know, if it's like planted, it won't be planted by them. But so the money went back in there, and I ended up spending like the last $30 on toys, I think. But yeah, that's one of the cooler. And that's the first thing that came to mind, because that's the most money I've ever found, I believe.
My my biological father got a small inheritance for his parents' house, and then when they sold it, he got some money for it. It was only like 25 grand or something. But when he got that, he would leave $20 bills around my house in spots around in my apartment.
Okay.
And, my wife and I, this was like I don't know, 25, 28 years ago. And we'd find it, and he got a real kick out of that. And then he would always tell me for years, you know, if anything ever happens to me and I die, then, you know, I keep money in my books. And he had 17 bookshelves in his house that were DVDs and books. And when he passed away, I got all his books. Fortunately for me, he was a huge Stephen King and Clive Barker fan, and
Cool.
Dean Koontz and Lansdale, and he was a Lansdale fan, but he only owned like one Lansdale book. But yeah, he was a huge, just a gore hound and everything else. And sure enough, man, I went through every one of those books. I found $400.
Good God.
And
Well then, thanks, Dad.
the one time that I found money in public, I absolutely 100% did not deserve it, and it was so ironic because I had, it's just weird. This is weird that I'm telling this story because I just made a post on social media today celebrating Recovery Month.
Yeah.
Because I told you before, I started using when I was 12. I was in rehab by the time I was 16, and I think it was maybe 7 months later, somebody very dear to me was killed, and for the next 3 years, I was on and off the wagon until finally stopping any type of drug whatsoever by the time I was 19. Drinking, I was a little rockier past that, but then I got 10 years sobriety under my belt, tried to become a casual drinker, and that lasted a little while, became too much, quit again, and so it's been 13, 14 years since I've had another drink. But anyway.
So there's a lot of Jecks in you.
What's that?
There's a lot of Jecks in you.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was about to say, all this sounds awfully familiar. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, very, very much. And so, anyway, I was a huge part of Alcoholics Anonymous. I went to meetings all the time, loved it, met some very close, lifelong friends there, and I used to chair meetings. And this is when I first started chairing meetings when I was like, I think I was 18, and I had a key to the hall. Well, I had relapsed with some friends of mine from the hall that I'd met at the Alano Club, and because I had a key and we had no money, We drove to the Animal Club, and I unlocked it, and we took. And I'm only saying this publicly because I've made amends with this, but they had a pop machine in there, and they had like a row or two to the ceiling of. I don't know if you have returnables in anywhere that you've ever lived, but
Yeah, Maine had them, but
okay, yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, in Michigan, 10 cents for a can or a bottle or whatever.
California too, yeah.
So we loaded up a trunk with every single bottle in that place, or every single can in that place.
Wow.
Went to Meijer, the grocery store, got our money. As we're walking into Meijer, which is a grocery store, there's money on the floor.
Oh God!
I just found money on the floor, and I remember thinking, really, I just stole from this place that I pretty much owe my life to.
It's like the universe telling you, had you just fucking waited. I know it might be a God thing to you, but basically the same thing. It had to have gone through your head, whether it be a God thing or a universe thing. Going, see if you had just waited. Did that ever cross your mind?
Well, at the time, God wasn't like in my life or anything like that. But yeah, I just did. At the time, I probably thought I was probably like, hell yeah, you know. And
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't until and I forgot about it. But over the years, it would pop into my head, and I would think about it. And then I think it was maybe just 2 or 3 years ago. I was talking to somebody, and I found out that they were like kind of a bigwig now down there. And I said, I gave them the same amount of money that we had stolen. I told them what I'd done.
Yeah.
I said I broke in there one night and I took all that money. Please give this money to them. You could tell them whatever you want, you know. But yeah, I owe this.
Good man. Good man. All right. Well, on that note, I guess we are done for the day. So you get, not only do you get to watch us write stories, but you get a story every single time we go live. So, and all for free too. How about that? Anyways, but yeah, I also just hit me that you know, it wasn't too long after that I started messing around with that neighbor lady, because it was between 10 or 11 that we went to Solvang the last time. And after that, it was kind of like the death of my childhood. So, yeah, that brought back that memory. But yeah, it's we all got past, we all got shit that we're not proud of, that we, you know, all that stuff. But it's not important. It's more important who you are than who you were. I'll end it on that note.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun, Jordan. All right, thanks everybody for joining us. We will be back on, what's the day? Thursday? We'll be back tomorrow. Yes. We'll be back tomorrow, and then no more until Monday. But until next time, all hail the chair.